The bedroom door swung open like a bad omen, and there they were, my parents, wild-eyed and frantic, ripping through my sanctuary as if it were enemy territory. Books hurled across the floor in a storm of pages, my favorite posters shredded like confetti from hell, and the contents of my desk drawers spilled out in a humiliating cascade of secrets. "Mom? Dad? Stop!" I yelled, my voice cracking like thunder, but they froze only for a split second, their faces paling as the betrayal hit us all at once. I stood there in the hallway of our suburban Seattle home, the kind of place where picket fences hid the rot underneath, my backpack still slung over one shoulder from soccer practice. The air smelled of torn paper and something sharper, betrayal, maybe, or just the faint tang of my mom's lavender perfume mixed with sweat. Dad clutched a crumpled photo in his fist, one-eyed hidden deep in my journal. Me and Alex, arms around each other at last summer's Pride March, our smiles defiant under rainbow flags. "Ethan," Mom whispered, her voice breaking like glass, we had to, for your own good." Her eyes darted to the mess, to the exposed diary pages fluttering like wounded birds, and in that moment, the last thread of trust I'd clung to snapped clean through. I lunged forward, grabbing the photo from Dad's hand before he could crush it further. My fingers trembled as I smoothed it out, the image blurring through hot tears. Alex's dark curls catching the sun, his hand warm on my waist, a promise we'd whispered in the crowd. "This is us, forever." How had they found it? I'd been so careful, stashing it away after that fight last year when Dad called it a phase, and Mom just looked away. But now, here it was, the evidence of my truth laid bare, and they hadn't just discovered it. They'd declared war on it. "You destroyed everything," I choked out, stepping over a shattered frame that held my childhood drawings. My room, my life. Why? Because I'm gay? Because I love someone? Dad's jaw tightened, his broad shoulders, once my safe harbor, now squared like a fortress. "It's not just that, son. It's him. Alex. We saw the texts, the lies. He's dangerous." Dangerous? My mind reeled, flashing to Alex's gentle laugh, the way he'd bandaged my knee after a skateboarding wipeout. What lies? What had they twisted in their fear? The argument erupted like a dam breaking, words flying sharper than the shards of my broken lamp. Mom sobbed into her hands, muttering about protecting the family name, her voice laced with the echo of her own Baptist upbringing, the sermons she dragged us to until I was old enough to fake the amens. Dad paced, his work boots crunching over my scattered CDs, indie tracks Alex had burned for me, mixtapes of longing and rebellion. We got a call from his father. Dad finally spat, his eyes avoiding mine. "Alex's old man said the boy's been in trouble, drugs, fights, running with the wrong crowd. And you, Ethan, you're headed down that path too if you don't cut ties." A call from Mr. Rivera, Alex's dad, the man who'd kicked Alex out at 16 for coming out, forcing him to couch surf with friends until he landed that scholarship to community college. It smelled like a setup, a desperate ploy from a father too ashamed to face his own failures. But doubt wormed in, cold and insidious. Alex had been distant lately, canceling plans with vague excuses about family stuff. Was there truth to it? I stormed out, slamming the front door so hard the windows rattled, the cool Pacific Northwest drizzle soaking my hoodie as I ran to my beat-up Honda. Seattle's gray skies mirrored the storm in my chest, streetlights flickering on early like judgmental eyes. I needed Alex, his steady presence, the way he could unravel my knots with a single touch on the shoulder. We met at our spot, the overgrown park bench by Green Lake, where fireflies danced in summer and secrets felt safe. He was already there, silhouetted against the water, his lanky frame hunched over his phone. "Ethan? God, you look wrecked." He stood, pulling me into a hug that smelled of rain and his cheap citrus cologne, but I pulled back, the photo thrust between us like a shield. "My parents found this. They trashed my room because of you. Said you're dangerous, that your dad's warning them off." Alex's face drained of color, his brown eyes widening in a mix of hurt and fury. "What? That's bullshit. My dad's been trying to sabotage us since day one. He hates that I'm happy, that I'm out and proud while he's still in the closet to his poker buddies." He raked a hand through his curls, pacing the wet grass. "I should have told you sooner. He's been calling your folks, spinning lies to drive a wedge. Last week, he cornered me, said if I didn't break it off, he'd go public with some old arrest record from when I was a dumb kid shoplifting to eat. The revelation hit like a sucker punch, twisting my anger toward a new target. Mr. Rivera, the ghost haunting Alex's every shadow, now poisoning mine. We sat on the bench, shoulders brushing, the lake lapping softly as Alex spilled it all. The eviction at 16, the nights in youth shelters, the fragile rebuild with a part-time job at the coffee shop, where we'd first locked eyes over a spilled latte. I didn't want to burden you, he admitted, voice raw. You're already dealing with your folks' subtle digs, the church invites that feel like traps. Thought I could handle it alone. Burden? He was my anchor, the one who saw the real me beyond the star soccer captain facade. The kid who'd buried his queerness under layers of normalcy until Alex pried them loose with patience and fire. But trust, once shattered, left cracks. And the distance lately? I pressed, hating the vulnerability in my tone. He winced. Hiding from him. Changed my number, but he found your parents through school records. I love you, more than this mess deserves. Love. The word hung between us, fragile as the drizzle turning to downpour. I leaned in, our foreheads touching, but the seed of doubt lingered, fed by years of my parents' whispers. Choose wisely, son. Not everyone's worth the fight. Back home that night, the house loomed silent, a tomb of unspoken accusations. My room was a crime scene, yellow tape of my own making, stringing up bedsheets to cordon off the wreckage. I salvaged what I could. The diary, singed but intact, filled with entries about Alex's smile lighting up rainy days. A rainbow bracelet he'd woven from embroidery thread during study hall. Sleep evaded me, chased by nightmares of rooms burning, faces melting into prejudice. Morning brought no truce. At breakfast, Mom slid pancakes across the table like peace offerings, her eyes red-rimmed. Ethan, honey, we love you. That's why we intervened. I cut in, sarcasm bitter on my tongue. Dad cleared his throat. Newspaper folded neatly, as if the chaos never happened. Mr. Rivera sounded convincing. Showed us emails, photos. Alex at some party, looking rough. Emails. I snatched Dad's phone when he stepped out for coffee, heart hammering as I scrolled the forwarded chain. Blurry pics of Alex at a college rager, red cups, hazy lights, but no drugs, no fights, just a kid trying to fit in. And the emails? Fabricated, timestamps off, Mr. Rivera's rage bleeding through forged concern. This is war, I muttered, forwarding it all to Alex with a single word, proof. School that day blurred into a haze of sympathetic glances from our tight-knit group. Lila, the fierce lesbian barista, who'd hooked us up with fake IDs for our first queer open mic. Jamal, Alex's straight ally roommate. All easy grins and bad puns. Your folks went nuclear, Lila said at lunch, her purple hair a beacon in the cafeteria din. But hey, plot twist, my aunt's a lawyer. Specializes in family crap like this. Discrimination suits if they push too far. Jamal nodded, munching fries. And Alex is spiraling. Won't talk, just sketches these dark comics about broken homes. Spiraling. The word clawed at me. After classes, I found Alex in the art room, charcoal smudging his fingers as he drew a fractured mirror reflecting two boys holding hands. It's me and you, he said without looking up, but one side's cracking. I sat beside him, our knees knocking awkwardly. We fight this together. No more hiding. He set the sketch aside, pulling me close, the kiss tentative, tasting of graphite and hope. But as our lips met, my phone buzzed. Mom's text. Family meeting tonight. Your father invited Mr. Rivera. Come home. Invited the enemy? The kiss soured, tension coiling like a spring. The meeting was an ambush in our living room, the space usually reserved for holiday photos and forced smiles now thick with hostility. Mr. Rivera sat on the couch, his burly frame dwarfing the cushions, a manila folder in his lap like a loaded gun. Dad hovered by the fireplace, Mom wringing her hands in the kitchen doorway. Alex and I arrived together, hand in hand, a united front that made Rivera's lip curl. See? This is what I mean. He boomed, slapping the folder open to spill photos and printouts. My boys led astray. Parties, skipping classes, that tattoo he got without permission. Tattoo? Alex's small pride flag inked on his wrist, a badge of survival. You threw me out, Dad. Alex shot back, voice steady but edged with old pain. For being me. Now you're poisoning Ethan's family too. Mom gasped, clutching her necklace, while Dad's face reddened. We just want what's best. Ethan's got a future, soccer scholarship, college. Not this drama. Drama. As if our love was a soap opera, not the realest thing I'd known. The room erupted. I countered with the forged emails, holding up my phone like evidence in court. Lies, all of it. You're the one manufacturing danger because you can't face your own failures. Rivera lunged, but Alex stepped between us, his body a shield. Enough. I'm done being your villain. In the chaos, Mom broke. Sobbing, she confessed her own buried truth. I knew girls in high school. Felt things I shouldn't. Pushed it down for your father, for the life we built. Seeing you too. It terrifies me because it's real. The admission hung, a bridge or a bomb. Dad deflated, sinking into his armchair, the fight draining out. We overreacted. Fear makes monsters of us. Rivera stormed out, folder abandoned. His parting shot a snarled, "You'll regret this." But as the door slammed, something shifted, a fragile piece, cracks mending with tentative apologies. Yet trust wasn't rebuilt in one night. Over the following weeks, the fallout rippled. Alex and I navigated the minefield of half-mended family ties, my parents attending a PFLAG meeting with wary eyes, Dad even shaking Alex's hand at dinner one awkward Sunday. But shadows lingered. Lila pulled me aside after a group hike in the Cascades, her voice low amid the evergreens. Heard from Jamal. Alex got a letter from his dad. Disinheritance threat, full on. Disinheritance. The word echoed my own fears, the scholarship teetering if rumors spread. That night, under starlit skies at our lake bench, Alex confessed more. He's offering money to leave you. Says it's for my stability. Stability, a cage with a paycheck. Rage boiled, but so did love, fiercer now. Then we build our own. I vowed, tracing the ink on his wrist. No one's buying us out. The real twist came unannounced, like a storm rolling off the sound. 2 months post-ambush, I found a note slipped under my windshield wiper after practice. Meet me. Alone. Or Alex pays. And signed, but the scrawl matched Rivera's from old birthday cards Alex had shown me. My stomach knotted as I drove to the abandoned mill by the shipyards, the air thick with salt and rust. He waited in the shadows, cigarette glowing like an accusation. Ethan. Smart kid, coming solo. His eyes, so like Alex's but hardened by regret, bored into me. This ends now. I know about your folks' debts, the mortgage, your mom's medical bills from that scare last year. I can help. Wire the money, no strings, if you ghost my son. Blackmail. The word tasted like bile. How deep had he dug? Our family's financial whispers, the late-night talks I'd overheard. Cancer scare, cleared but costly. You're bribing me to break his heart. I spat, fists clenched. Rivera exhaled smoke, unyielding, protecting him from heartbreak. You think a high school fling lasts? When you're both out in the world, it'll crumble. Better now than later. I left shaking. The note crumpled in my pocket, but the poison seeped. At home, Mom's pill bottles on the counter mocked me, reminders of fragility. Did I sacrifice us for their security? Alex sensed the shift, his texts unanswered until he cornered me in the school parking lot. You're pulling away. Again. What's he done now? The dam broke. I spilled it all, the offer, the debts. His face crumpled, not in anger, but sorrow. So that's it. Money over us. No. I grabbed his arms, desperate. I'm fighting it. But God, Alex, it's real pressure. He pulled free, eyes glistening. Pressure's what I live with. You choose now. He walked away, leaving me in the rain-slicked lot, the weight of worlds on my shoulders. Enter the allies, unexpected lifelines in the fray. Lila rallied the troops, Jamal, and surprisingly, my soccer coach, Mr. Hale, a quiet, queer dad who'd mentored me through benchwarmers to captain. We met at Lila's aunt's office downtown, Seattle's skyline a jagged promise through the windows. This is coercion, the lawyer said, glasses perched on her nose as she scanned the note. Parental interference, potential extortion. We document, we push back. Jamal grinned, cracking knuckles. And if words fail, I've got friends who know how to make a guy sweat. Legally, of course. Coach Hale nodded, his voice gravelly. Seen too many kids like you two lose everything to fear. Not on my watch. Their solidarity stitched my resolve, but the rift with Alex gaped. Days turned to a week of radio silence. Each unanswered call a knife twist. Finally, I showed up at his dorm, rain pounding the roof like accusations. He opened the door in sweats, charcoal dust on his cheek. What? Fight with me, not against. I stepped in, closing the distance. Rivera's bluffing. We're worth more than his cash. The kiss that followed was fire, raw, reclaiming, a vow sealed in the dim light of his single bulb. But Rivera wasn't done. The next escalation arrived via certified mail, a cease and desist to Alex, from a sleazy lawyer claiming defamation over the forged emails. He's lawyering up. Alex groaned over pizza with the group, the box half-eaten on Jamal's coffee table. Lila scrolled precedents on her laptop. Classic bully move. Counter with our own suit. Emotional distress. The works. As plans solidified, a deeper layer peeled back. Coach Hale pulled me aside after practice, his whistle dangling. My husband and I, we almost lost everything to his family back in the 80s. AIDS crisis, you name it. Fought our way through. You remind me of that kid I was, scared but stubborn. His story cracked me open, mirroring the generational scars we all carried. That night, I confronted my parents again, the living room lit soft by lamps. Dad, Mom, this isn't just about me. It's about choosing love over fear. Rivera's poison, but so was your silence. Mom reached for my hand, tears tracing lines. We're trying, Ethan. Therapy, books, but seeing you hurt. Dad grunted. We'll match his offer. Pay the debts ourselves. No more outsiders calling shots. Their pivot, born of guilt and growth, felt like sunlight after eclipse. Yet the heart of the storm brewed in quieter moments. Alex and I rebuilt on fractured ground, walks along the Burke-Guilford Trail where ferns whispered forgiveness. I almost believed him. Alex admitted one dusk, geese honking overhead, that I wasn't enough, too broken for you. You're my whole, I replied, lacing fingers. But twists lurked. An anonymous tip led to Rivera's office. Jamal's hacker buddy uncovered embezzlement ties, the money he'd offered tainted. Armed with proof, we met him at a neutral diner, the vinyl booth sticky under fluorescent hum. Sign the papers. Our lawyer said, sliding the settlement. Drop the threats, therapy for reconciliation, or face charges. Rivera scanned them. Face ashen, the emperor stripped bare. For Alex, he muttered finally, pin-scratching. I lost him once. Can't again. The victory was bittersweet. No fairy tale hug, but a door cracked for mending. Summer swelled, bringing pride, our redemption parade. Seattle's streets pulsed with color, drag queens on stilts, allies chanting. My parents watched from the sidelines, rainbow pins tentative on their shirts. Proud of you, Dad mumbled, clapping awkward as Alex and I marched hand in hand. Lila let afloat, Jamal drummed, Coach Hale waved a flag. But the true climax whispered in the after-party, a rooftop bash under string lights. Alex pulled me aside, eyes nervous. Got something. From his pocket, a sketch, not fractured, but whole. Us, older, in a home of our own, rings glinting. Not proposing, yet, but envisioning. Tears pricked, trust, reforged in fire, shone brighter. As fireworks burst over the sound, I kissed him, the city our witness. Love wasn't absence of storm, but dancing through it. Fall leaves crunched underfoot as college loomed, a new chapter laced with old ghosts. Alex and I had clawed our way to acceptance, my parents' apologies evolving into tentative support, like stocking the fridge with his favorite almond milk or asking about his art shows. Rivera's therapy sessions yielded stiff emails, progressing. Miss you, son. But peace is a fragile bloom, and winter winds carried frost. The first chill hit during Thanksgiving break. I'd invited Alex home, a bold step after the room wreckage. The turkey roasted golden, but tension simmered like gravy. Dad carved with precision, Mom passed rolls, but eyes flicked to Alex's wrist tattoo, a silent judgment. How's the portfolio? Mom ventured, her smile strained. Alex nodded, launching into his graphic novel pitch, tales of queer youth navigating shadows. Dad leaned in. Sounds ambitious. Ever think of something stable, like teaching? The subtext landed. Art's a risk, not a life. Alex's fork paused. Stability's overrated if it means hiding. The table fell silent, my heart thudding. I squeezed his knee under the cloth. It's his passion, Dad. Like soccer was mine. A beat, then Dad grunted. Fair enough. Diffused, but the spark lingered. Campus life at UW amplified the drama. Dorms buzzed with freedom. Queer alliance meetings in the quad, where Lila thrived as president, her energy a whirlwind. Jamal roomed with a theater kid, their antics spilling into group chats. But Alex's dorm was a pressure cooker, a homophobic RA who'd overlooked slurs until I filed a complaint. It's nothing, Alex brushed off, but his sketches darkened, figures with chained wings. One night, post a heated panel on intersectional identities, we argued in his room, posters of Basquiat peeling at edges. You always jump in, Ethan, like I'm fragile. Because you are, sometimes. That RA's a creep. Why ignore it? His eyes flashed. I've handled worse. Dad's boot, shelters. Don't baby me. The words stung, echoing my parents' old coddling. Not babying. Loving. He softened, pulling me down to the twin bed, our breaths sinking. Sorry. Fear's a bitch. Vulnerability bridged us, but doubt's echo chamber hummed. The real fracture cracked open mid-semester, a betrayal from within. Lila, our rock, dropped a bomb at coffee. Her new girlfriend, Sam, a transfer from California, whispered rumors. Alex's party phase wasn't ancient history. He'd been spotted at underground raves, slipping from my side. Just hearsay, Lila said, wincing. But, check it out. For peace. Peace. It felt like poison. I tailed him one Friday, heart in throat, to a warehouse off campus. Bass thrummed, lights strobed, kids in glitter, bodies grinding. There was Alex, in the corner, not dancing, but talking intently to a guy with sleeve tattoos, passing a flask. No drugs, but the intimacy, the laugh, the hand on arm, twisted like a knife. I bolted before confrontation, rain lashing my face as I ran to the lake. Was Rivera right? A phase? Or my paranoia, fed by years of scrutiny? Confrontation brewed slow, a storm front. Saturday, I waited in his dorm, the air thick with unspoken. He walked in, reeking of smoke and regret. Ethan, you're early. Or just in time. I held up my phone, a blurry pic from a mutual friend. Who's he? And why the secrets? Alex's face cycled shock to fury. Tate, from art class, collaborating on a project, queer zine about hidden lives. The flask? Watered down punch. Swore off the hard stuff after shelters. Proof tumbled out. Emails, sketches stamped with Tate's chaotic style. Misunderstanding, born of my scars. I jumped to worst case. I admitted, shame hot. Your parents' voices in my head. He cupped my face. We're past that. Trust the us we built. Forgiveness tasted sweet, but the scare unearthed deeper therapy sessions. For me, unpacking the room destruction's trauma, how it morphed love to suspicion. Holiday break brought uneasy détente. My parents hosted a small New Year's gathering, inviting Coach Hale and his husband for balance. Stories flowed. Hale's on early protests, Mom's halting share of her high school crush on a girl named Clara, buried under conformity. I see you too, she said to us, clinking glasses. Brave in ways I wasn't. Dad even cracked a joke about two artists in the family now. Eyeing Alex's latest piece, a mural sketch of intertwined roots, unbreakable. Rivera sent a card, stiff, but signed Love, Dad. Progress, inching. Spring semester ignited new fires. The zine launched, a campus hit, drawing a local gallery spot. But success bred sabotage. Anonymous posts on the student forum, queer alliance hypocrites, leaders boyfriends of flake, daddy issues galore. Alex traced it to Tate's ex, a bitter poet scorned. Drama peaked at the reading. Hecklers in the crowd, slurs hissed. Jamal body blocked, Lila mic dropped retorts, but Alex froze on stage, voice cracking mid-poem. I rushed up, wrapping an arm around him. We're unbreakable, I whispered, finishing the lines together. The crowd erupted, not in hate, but cheers, a turning tide. Yet personal tempests raged. Finals week, I collapsed, stress fracturing into panic attacks, echoes of that trashed room closing in. Alex found me hyperventilating in the library stacks. Breathe with me. His hand on my back grounded, but guilt followed. I can't be your only anchor. You're my North Star, he countered. But yeah, therapy. For both. We signed up tandem, sessions peeling layers, his abandonment fears, my perfectionist cage. Growth hurt, but bloomed. Dates at indie films, hikes where we named constellations after inside jokes. Climax crested in May, Pride planning season. The Alliance voted a bold float, Roots Unchained, Alex's mural centerpiece. But Rivera resurfaced, emailing. Can I come? See what you've built. Alex hesitated, old wounds raw. What if it's a trap? Group huddle. Lila for caution, Jamal for second chances, me neutral. Your call, I said. He chose yes, a leap. The day arrived, Seattle's streets electric. We marched, parents trailing, mine beaming, hails waving. Rivera appeared at the sidelines, alone, eyes on the float. Post-parade, Alex approached, me at his flank. Dad. A hug, awkward but real. Proud, Rivera choked. Finally, not perfect, but pivotal, a bridge crossed. Summer internships scattered us, me at a sports nonprofit, Alex at the gallery. Distance tested, but nightly calls wove tighter. One evening, under a harvest moon hike, he knelt, not with rings, but a promise stone, etched forever roots. When we're ready, he said, tears mixed with laughter. Trust, tempered, gleamed eternal. Autumn's amber hues masked brewing undercurrents as senior year dawned. The apartment we shared off campus, a cramped one-bedroom with mismatched furniture and views of the Olympics, felt like victory, a space untainted by parental raids. But victory's shadow is complacency and cracks spiderweb subtle. Alex's gallery gig evolved into a fellowship, late nights blurring into dawn sketches. It's the break, he'd say, kissing my forehead as I crashed early. My nonprofit role demanded travel. Youth camps in Portland, workshops in Tacoma, leaving evenings to cold pizza and voicemails. Miss your laugh, I'd text, but replies lagged, emojis substituting depth. Lila noticed first, over brunch at her favorite vegan spot. You two okay? Seems. Off orbit. Jamal nodded, syrup dripping. Alex mentioned a collab with that Tate guy again. Zine sequel. Tate. The name prickled, but I shoved it down. Just work. The fissure widened mid-October, a rainy Tuesday when I returned from a conference to find the apartment dim, takeout containers strewn. Alex sprawled on the couch, laptop glowing with emails, Tate's name threaded throughout, effusive praise laced with inside references. Collaborating, he explained, closing the tab quick. Nothing more. But the air hummed suspicion, my mind replaying warehouse lights. Trust, that hard-won gem, flickered. Late nights with him, casual but edged. His brow furrowed. Jealous? After all this. Hurt bloomed mutual, words sharpened to barbs. Not jealous. Guarded. We've been here before. He stood, pacing the worn rug. And you'll always be, won't you? Waiting for the other shoe. The door clicked shut behind him, leaving me with silence and regret. Reconciliation came halting, a coffee shop sit-down where steam curled like apologies. I'm scared of losing you to success, I admitted, stirring foam. Or to him. Alex's hand covered mine. Tate's straight, married, and a mentor, not a threat. But your doubt? That's the real intruder. Truth stung. Therapy unpacked it. My parents' destruction imprinting scarcity, love as conditional. Work on it, the counselor urged. Daily affirmations, not accusations. We recommitted, date nights enforced. Trivia at the pub, where Jamal's terrible history facts earned groans. Stargazing on the roof, tracing futures in constellations. Family dynamics shifted seismic. Thanksgiving at my parents', now expanded to include Rivera's tentative invites, unveiled mom's evolution. She joined a local LGBTQ plus book club, gushing over Audre Lorde. Your story inspired me, she told Alex, passing pie. Dad, ever gruff, shared a workshop tale, volunteering at the nonprofit, mentoring kids like me. Rivera arrived late, bearing a store-bought pie, his presence a tightrope. Conversation skirted edges, art markets, sports stats, until Alex bridged. Dad, the fellowship. It's because of your engineering stories, structure and chaos. Rivera's eyes misted. Means something. Small wins, but seismic. Campus intrigue escalated with the zine's second issue. A feature on queer family reclamations drew fire, conservative alums petitioning its removal, citing indoctrination. Lila rallied protests, pickets in the quad under drizzly skies. Alex and I co-authored a piece, raw on room raids and redemptions. Backlash hit personal, graffiti on our door, slurs scrawled. Police reports filed, but fear chilled. Moving, I suggested. Hell no, Alex fired. This is our stand. Allies mobilized, Hale organizing security, Jamal's theater crew staging counter-performances. The climax, a town hall, packed tents. Lila moderated, voices clashing, protests met with facts, hearts laid bare. When a heckler sneered at Alex, Daddy's boy playing victim, Rivera, in the back row, stood. That's my son, and he's braver than I ever was. Silence, then applause. The petition crumbled, the zine thrived. Winter break brought introspection. We road tripped to Portland, crashing with Lila's aunt, the lawyer who'd armed our early battles. Fireside chats unearthed layers. Alex's foster stint dreams of stability, my soccer scars from a torn ACL sidelining captaincy. Redefines us, he said, snow blanketing the Willamette. Back home, a package waited. From Tate. Not threat, but tribute. A signed print, platonic admiration. Doubt dissolved, trust annealed. Spring's thaw mirrored renewal, but fate twisted cruel. April Fool's mass tragedy. A call at 2 a.m., Jamal's voice wrecked. Coach Hale. Accident. Drunk driver. The world tilted. Hale, our compass. Gone. Husband shattered. Memorial swelled campus. Eulogies weaving his legacy. Protests, mentorships, quiet loves. Alex sketched the program cover. A trailblazer silhouette against mountains. He saw us. I whispered at graveside, rain mingling tears. Grief bonded deeper. Therapy shifting to collective healing. Group sessions with the Alliance. Stories shared like lanterns. Graduation loomed. Capstones of chaos. My thesis on inclusive sports programs earned nods. Alex's exhibit, fractured frames, sold pieces, whispers of New York Scouts. But Rivera upped ante. A job offer at his firm, for stability. Alex wavered. Tempting, but corporate cage? We debated nights, pros cons listed on fridge paper. Your call, I echoed. He chose indie studio, roots over chains. Pride that year was cathartic, float evolved, Hale's flag center. Families marched together, my parents linking arms with Rivera, a tableau of mended fractures. Post-commencement haze settled into decisions. Offers piled, me in Seattle's youth org, Alex gallery curator role. But a wild card, Tate's contact, a NYC queer art collective invite. Together, he asked, skyline at our feet. Always. The move south beckoned, but Seattle's pull, lakes, allies, healed homes, held. 1 year here, we compromised. Then conquer. Love, battle-tested, promised tomorrows. New York's siren call proved irresistible by autumn's end. The collective's offer too luminous to ignore. We packed the apartment into boxes, labels scrawled with futures, kitchen dreams, art supplies forever. Seattle farewell tugged, parents' airport hug, mom's tears on my collar, dad's gruff, call weekly. Lila and Jamal threw a rager, toast sloshing, to roots that travel. Rivera's goodbye was quiet, a check slipped in Alex's bag, for the city grind. No strings. We boarded the red-eye, fingers laced, Manhattan lights winking below like possibilities. The city swallowed us whole, a walk-up in Brooklyn, roaches as roommates, subway symphonies of rush. The collective buzzed, diverse artists, queer visionaries, projects fusing identity and urban grit. Alex thrived, co-curating a show on exiled homes. His pieces, mirrors cracked with gold leaf, drawing critics. I landed at a national nonprofit branch, coordinating queer youth initiatives across boroughs. Days blurred, pitches in high-rises, nights in dive bars sketching dreams. But Urban Pulse amplified old rhythms. Tate, now colleague, proved ally. Introducing networks, no shadows. Yet isolation crept. Friends scattered, calls home fading to texts. First fracture, a gallery opening, champagne flutes clinking amid air kisses. Alex networked fierce, a curator from MoMA cornering him, whispers of solo shows. I beamed, but envy nipped. My grant proposal stalled, bureaucracy's grind. Later, in our shoebox kitchen, words spilled. You're shining, I said, chopping veggies. And I'm dim. He laughed, but eyes searched. We're a team. Your work matters. Doubt, that persistent ghost, murmured. Am I holding him back? Therapy via Zoom with our Seattle counselor unpacked it. Imposter syndrome, postgrad drift. Affirm the we, she coached. Family threads pulled taut. Christmas in Seattle bridged worlds. My parents' tree twinkling, Rivera's awkward addition of a menorah, his hidden Jewish roots unearthed in therapy. Stories flowed. Mom's book club tales, Dad's coaching a queer youth league. Proud, Rivera told Alex, clinking eggnog, of the man you built. Back in NYC, resolutions solidified, joint goals, weekly check-ins. Spring Bloom scandal. The collective's big exhibit, Veiled Identities, faced backlash. A funder, conservative donor, threatening pullout over provocative queer themes. Protests erupted. Picketers at the gallery, social media storms. Alex's piece, Centerpiece, vilified in op-eds as agenda-pushing. Sleepless nights ensued. Him pacing, me drafting statements. Lila, visiting for a week, strategized, litigate if needed. Ant's got East Coast ties. Jamal FaceTime pep talks, bad jokes landing soft. Climax, press conference, Alex at podium, voice steady. Art isn't veil, it's mirror. Reflecting truths funders fear. Applause thundered, donor caved, exhibit soared. But toll lingered. Alex's hands shook sketching after, panic's echo. Healing wove through summer's heat wave. We escaped to Fire Island, borrowed cottage a queer haven. Beaches thrumming with freedom, bonfires sharing scars. There, under gauzy curtains, vulnerabilities bared. Sometimes I fear the city's eating us, Alex confessed, waves crashing. But you ground me. I traced his tattoos. And you lift. Intimacy deepened, not carnal but soulful. Letters exchanged like old flames, promises etched in sand. Fall's equinox brought pivot. My promotion, national coordinator, travel heavy. Alex's solo show invite, MoMA whispers to reality. Joy mingled anxiety, paths diverging. A weekend in the Hamptons, courtesy Tate's connections, clarified. Parallel, not pull apart. We vowed, sketching a shared studio dream. But fate jabbed. A call from Seattle, Mom's recurrent scare, tests pending. We flew west, hearts leaden. Hospital waits blurred, her hand frail in mine. Fight like you taught me, I whispered. Clear scans brought relief, but reminder, fragility's undercurrent. Back east, resolve hardened. We hosted a hybrid Thanksgiving, Zoom families, Brooklyn table groaning. Rivera joined virtually, sharing a challah recipe. Laughter bridged miles, toast to resilience. Winter deepened commitments. Alex proposed mid-snowstorm, rings simple, gold band etched with roots. Yes, I breathed, snowflakes melting on lashes. Wedding plans sprouted, small, queer-centric, Seattle roots. Climax crested New Year's Eve, Times Square chaos a metaphor. Fireworks burst as we kissed, but earlier, a donor gala turned ambush. Ex-funder cornering Alex, slurs veiled as concern. I intervened, words steel, step back. Or we amplify. Security escorted. Headlines next day hailed, queer power couple stands firm. Viral wave propelled careers. My TEDx talk booked, Alex's book deal inked. Spring wedding bloomed under Seattle rains, Isle of Evergreens. Families united, parents toasting, Rivera walking Alex, Lila officiating with flair. Vows echoed lakeside. Through destructions and rebuilds. Honeymoon in Portland, Lila's aunt's cabin, sealed bliss, trails hiked hand in ringed hand. Years folded forward, but that first shattered trust? Its shards, reforged, armored us eternal. The honeymoon's glow lingered into summer's haze, but marriage's rhythm introduced subtler dances. Brooklyn's bustle felt charged now. Partners, not just lovers, navigating merged finances, whose turn for dishes. Alex's book deal demanded deadlines, pages piling like autumn leaves. My TEDx prep meant rehearsals and empty galleries, echoes of nerves. We're pros at this, he'd tease, rubbing my shoulders. Yet micro-frictions sparked, a forgotten anniversary dinner, rescheduled for his launch party. Priorities, I muttered, hurt veiled. Ours first. He countered, rescheduling the party. Apology flowers wilted less than egos, but therapy check-ins kept compasses true. Career crescendos collided. My talk, sporting safe spaces, queer youth on the field, went viral, invites flooding, podcasts, keynotes. Alex's memoir, Shattered Frames, A Son's Reclamation, hit shelves to acclaim. Reviews praising raw vulnerability, signings drawing lines. Pride Month amplified. Joint panel at Stonewall, crowds chanting. But spotlight bred shadows. A tabloid piece twisted facts, from family feud to fame. The gay couple's calculated comeback, implying opportunism. Trolls swarmed socials, old wounds ripped. Parents were right. It's all for clout. Alex retreated to sketches, dark swirls. I overworked, sleep evading. Allies anchored. Lila, now East Coast transplant, crashed for moral support. Wine-fueled rants over bad press. Spin it. Authenticity sells. Jamal, theater-bound in Chicago, scripted a satirical skit mocking the article, viral in queer circles. Families rallied. Mom clipping positive reviews. Dad grumbling, ignore the noise. Rivera, evolved, sent a care package. Books on resilience, note. Echoes of my regrets. You're stronger. Healing hinged on unplugging. A Catskills cabin retreat, leaves turning fiery. No Wi-Fi, just trails and talks. Fame's a mirror. Alex mused by the fire. Shows our cracks too. I nodded. But gold-leafed, like your art. Reconnection deepened. Vows renewed impromptu. Rings kissed under stars. Back in the city, boundaries set. Social media Sabbaths, date nights sacred. Autumn's harvest yielded growth. Alex's tour wrapped with a Seattle homecoming reading. Rivera in front row, tears unashamed. My nonprofit expanded, a Brooklyn Youth Center flagship, named Hale House, in honor. Opening gala swelled hearts. Kids kicking balls under rainbows. Coach's husband cutting ribbon. He'd beam, he said, hugging us. Winter whispered challenges anew. A donor crisis at the center. Funding cut over woke. Optics threatened closure. Protests planned, but Alex uncovered leverage. The donor's firm, tied to Rivera's embezzlement past, cleared, but skeletons. Use it. Ethical quandary brewed nights. Truth over tactics, I decided. Op-ed co-bylined. Fund fear or foster futures? Public outcry reversed cuts, center saved. But toll. Alex's anxiety spiked. Therapy intensifying. Uncovering CPTSD from youth evictions. Spring's renewal brought surprise. Fertility talks, whispers of family. Surrogacy explored, ethics entangled. Queer paths to parenthood. Consults in crisp offices, hopes tentative. Our roots extended, Alex dreamed. But pause button hit. Careers peaking, stability first. Climax unfurled June. Anniversary trip to Fire Island revisited. Bonfire circles shared legacies. An elder couple, wed 60 years, pulled us aside. Storms pass if you steer together. That night, under same gauzy curtains, Alex confessed. A sequel idea. Our story, unfiltered. Collaboration sparked. Manuscript born from beach walks. Pride Parade that year, we led a contingent. Hale House kids marching, families flanking. Banner read, Roots Reclaimed. As confetti rained, a heckler from years past, reformed, now ally, approached. You changed me. Redemption's arc, full circle. Fall deepened legacies. Book launch for our co-memoir. Intertwined. A love in fragments. Packed houses. Readings wove solos to duet. Audiences wrapped. Rivera co-signed forward. Vulnerability bared. My center thrived. Grants flowing. Keynote circuits solidified voice. Winter's hush gifted quiet joys. Holiday lights strung in our now expanded loft. Goodbye roaches. Families rotating feasts. Mom's health vigilant. Dad's league coaching grandkids in waiting. Anniversary dawn, Central Park bloom. We reflected. From rooms ruined to empire built. Shattered trust. Alex quipped. Best plot twist. Laughter echoed. Love's narrative unbound.